8th canto, chapter 3, text 18. Atmatma japto gruha vitta janisu sakti dusprapanayo guna sanga vivarjitayo muktatma bhi suhudai paribhavitayo jnanatmani bhagavati namaiswaraya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. My Lord, those who are completely freed from material contamination always meditate upon you within the course of their hearts. You are extremely difficult to attain for those like me who are too attached to mental concoction, home, relatives, friends, money, servants, and assistants. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uncontaminated by the modes of nature. You are the reservoir of all enlightenment, the Supreme Controller. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. But although the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes into the material world, he is unaffected by the modes of material nature. This is confirmed in Isoparishad. Apapavidham, he is not contaminated. This same fact is described here, Gunasanga Vivarjitaya. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears as an incarnation within this material world, he is unaffected by the modes of material nature. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, Avajananti Mangudha Manusing Tanu Asritam. Foolish men with insufficient knowledge deride the personality of Godhead because he appears just like a human being. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood only by the Muktatma, the liberated soul. Muktatma bhi sofrudaye paribhavitaya. Only the liberated person can constantly think of Krishna. Such a person is the greatest of all yogis. Yoginangapi sarvesang madhati nantratmana Sradhavan bhajati joman Swami juktatamamataha. Of all the yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is highest of all. Srimad Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter. Yes, Shloka Prabhasya. Offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead says here, especially, that it is very difficult, extremely difficult to understand that Supreme Personality of Godhead and to know that Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those people who are too much attached to mental concoction, home, relatives, friends, money, servants, and assistants, they are always thinking of these things. To their home, to their relatives, to their wives, to their children, to their followers, to their money. They only think of these things. They can never think of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They cannot keep Krishna in their mind. Very difficult. He says this thing. That who can understand Krishna, who can approach Krishna, who can achieve Krishna, that is a question. One who is a liberated person, who is free from material contamination, free from all sorts of material attachment, who is Muktatma, only he can understand. That is it. It is stated here. Gajendra said that. Because Krishna is above these three modes of material nature. Though he comes here to this material world, still he is not affected by these three modes of material nature. He is never contaminated by this bhautika, material qualities. He is never contaminated. He is always in Suddha Sattva sthiti. He comes, he descends here with his dham, with his abode, his paraphernalia, everything. But still not affected by material modes, by material contamination. Example is given, Padam Patra Mamsa. Lotus leaf is there inside water, but it is not touched with water. Water cannot touch it. He remains unattached, untouched. Similarly, when Supreme Personality of Godhead descends here with his dham, with his paraphernalia, everything, he remains unattached. He remains unattached. He is never affected by the material modes. The one who can be situated in such platform, that means who can be unattached to this material contaminations of the material modes. In other words, we may say, will go beyond these material modes. He can understand Krishna and see Krishna and happens. Otherwise, it possible. It's very difficult. Nahum prakasha sarvasya jogomaya snabhuta mudhaya nabhijanati. When mudha, rascal, he cannot understand me. The fool cannot understand me. He will deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead as an ordinary human being. The original form of Krishna is human form, 200 form. All beautiful form. Though Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, had innumerable forms and innumerable incarnations. Innumerable forms, innumerable incarnations. Do you understand? Still, this human form is most beautiful form, and 200 human form, flute in hand, carved in 3 places, Tribhangalalita, Shyama Sundara Rupa, is his original form, most attractive form. So when he comes in that form, the fools cannot understand him. Avadananti mang mudha manusing tanu asritam. Mudha, the rascals, they deride me as an ordinary human being. They cannot understand it. It's very difficult to understand. One cannot. Nahu prakasha sarvasya yogamaya sanatrita mudha yunabhijana. I am covered up with my yogamaya shakti. Mudha rascal cannot understand me. I never manifest myself everywhere. Before everybody. Though he is here, all pervaded. Previously, in previous verse, Govinda has already said, one can see him, how he is there in an atom also. Everywhere. Prahlad Maharaj saw in a tall pillar, whereas his demoniac father, Hiranyakashipu, couldn't see this difference. The question of vision. Only one who is a bhakta, one is a devotee, they are devotee of the Lord, he can see him. Who has taken complete shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, is completely surrendered soul. He is free from this material contamination. He has gone beyond this 3 modes of material nature. Gunapita sthiti. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has instructed Arjuna to go beyond these 3 modes of material nature. You understand? Gunapita sthiti. Trigunapita. Then you can understand me. How can one attain that stage? Beyond the stage which is beyond these 3 modes of material nature. How can one attain? Yes?
Always engaging in devotional service.
Yamanga bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samataitan brahmabhuyayo kalpati. That Krishna said. Abhyabhicharani bhakti, one will develop unalloyed devotion. Unalloyed devotion is one pointed. Do you understand? Abhyabhicharani bhakti, aikantika bhakti, we say. Bhakti of Abhyabhicharini is unalloyed devotion, pure devotion. He can easily go beyond this material modes. He can situate himself in this transcendental position, which is not affected by the 3 modes of material nature. In that state, in that platform, the Supreme Personality Godhead is. Then he can understand Krishna, he can see Krishna, he can get that transcendental knowledge. You understand? Otherwise, a materially attached person, in other words, a conditioned soul, cannot understand it. I cannot think of it. So, when one attains that stage, he always thinks of Krishna. As Krishna says in his in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, most confidential instruction, Manmana bhava, mad bhakta mad jadi, mang namaskuru, mang avasyasi, he says. Think of me only. Put me in your mind. Drive out all other thoughts from your mind. Who can constantly think of Krishna, not anything else. He is a liberated person, mukta. He is not affected by these three modes of material nature. He has gone beyond these three modes of material nature. He is in the transcendental platform. Only he can think of. Others cannot think of. One who is attached to his home, to his wife, to his children, to his kith and kin, relatives, country, like that, his wealth, cannot think of. He is only think of those things. He cannot put Krishna in his mind at all. So Govinda says the same thing. Those who are too much attached to this material enjoyment, home, country, relatives, kin, sons, daughters, wife, etc., they undergo many lakhs and lakhs of species of life here. They are evolving in this cycle of birth and death. And they suffer here. Life after life, they suffer here. They get unlimited miseries. Do you understand? Unlimited miseries. They try very hard to get some pleasure and happiness here. But they cannot get. They cannot get. They cannot get peace, they cannot get happiness and pleasure in this material world. This is dukkhalayam. The material world is filled with misery. There is no happiness at all. And the conditioned soul, ignorant soul, doesn't know how to get happiness, how to get pleasure. Happiness means real happiness and pleasure. There is no happiness and pleasure in this material world. The happiness and pleasure that a conditioned soul thinks here, that is material enjoyment, material pleasure, is not pleasure and happiness at all. Rather, it is, what do you say? Jai sanspaja bhoga dukkha jona yevate adyanta panta kaunteya na te suramate buddha. Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Krishna has said this thing. This material pleasure and happiness is no pleasure, no happiness. Rather, it is the outcome of unlimited miseries. Do you understand? So, the conditioned soul cannot get any peace and happiness here. It doesn't know how he can get real happiness and peace because he is an ignorant fool. He is devoid of true knowledge, transcendent knowledge. He is covered up with jnana, nonsense. So he cannot get peace and happiness here. Though he tries hard. Do you understand? In Srimad Bhagavatam, especially in 11th canto, you'll find it is stated, Karmanyara bhamananang dukkha te sukhaya cha pasyet pak viparjasam mithuni charinam. 11th canto, 3rd chapter, 18th verse says this thing. Prabhupada Rishi says this thing, that here in this material world, the conditioned soul tries hard get some pleasure and happiness, and he is engaged, therefore engaged in various activities. Still, he cannot get any happiness and pleasure. Rather, he gets miseries. Rather, he gets miseries. Any pleasure, what happiness gets is very temporary, fleeting pleasure, temporary pleasure, for short time, and outcome is unlimited miseries. Nityartidena vittena durlabhena atmamrutyuna grahapatyaptapasubhi kapriti sadhiteischari. Prabhupada Rishi says this thing. This material world is full of miseries. This place, a miserable place. Always there is miseries. No happiness, no pleasure is here. And here conditioned soul tries very hard to get some pleasure and some happiness, but he couldn't get, he cannot get. Rather he gets unlimited misery. He is here only attached to his material wealth, home, sons, daughters, kith and kin, his own followers, countrymen, country, like this. He's attached to it, too much attached to it. All these things, and always thinking of them. And he wants to get pleasure and happiness being attached to these things. How can he get? Krishna is the only source of pleasure and happiness. Sachidanandamoy. Sat-chit Anandamoy. It's full of eternity, full of knowledge, and full of pleasure. It's the only source of pleasure and source of real pleasure and happiness, which is transcendental pleasure. Material pleasure is no pleasure at all. Zeros. What will you get? Only result is zero. If you just put one, just left hand side of the zero, then it becomes tenfold, tenfold, tenfold. 1 0, put 1 at the left hand side of 0, it becomes 10. 2 zeros, tenfold, 100. Then 3 zeros, 1,000, tenfold, tenfold. 0, value, you see. If that 1 is not there, it's only 0. Only 0. Add the zeros, multiply the zeros. No 1 is there, it's only 0. That one is bhakti. You understand? Dharma satya daya peto vidyava tapasannita madbhakta petanatmanam nat samyak pnatihi. That Bhagavatam says. Dharma satya daya vidya tapasya. These are very good things. You understand? Understand? Dharma, one who observes the religious principles. Dharma, very truthful person, speaks only truth, never speaks lies. Satya, Daya, very merciful person, shows mercy to one and all. You understand? Daya, Dharma, Satya, Daya, Vidya, very great learned scholar. You understand? Vedic Pandit, like Keshav Kashmir, like Ravan, so Vedic Pandit, great Vedic Pandit. You understand? Achieved Vedic scholarship. Tapasya, great. He has undergone very severe austerity and penance. Do you understand? Dharma satyadaya petu vidyava tapasanita mad bhaktya petanatma natsu samyaknatmi. Without bhakti, the result is 0. All this. What he has achieved, it's 0. You understand? That cannot cleanse his heart. All these things without bhakti. You understand? Without. Cannot. And that day I was speaking about Saubhari Muni. You understand? Who underwent 10,000 years of tapasya underneath the water of Jamuna water, you see? Such severe tapasya he did. Huh? He developed such great detachment. He had no taste at all. No attraction at all towards material enjoyment. He had nothing. You understand? So great detachment. But he had no bhakti at all. What happened? He again was put into bondage. You understand? When he saw that two fish are engaged in sexual activity there underneath the water, that sexual appetite developed. Such urge. Do you understand? Got up and went to King Mandava and asked to give his daughter in marriage to him. You understand? Such old man, very, very old, what underwent 10,000 years of tapasya underneath the water. Huh? All hairs are grey, teeth are fallen, and shivering body like this, very skinny body. Huh? Why the princess will accept him as husband? But he has wonderful Jog Shakti, yet wonderful mystic power, you see. By dint of his mystic power, Jog Shakti became very handsome young man. Looking like a cupid, very beautiful. Mandata had 50 daughters. All were attracted to him. And all said, we'll marry this handsome young man. He married 50 daughters of Mandata, you see. What is the result of this tapasya? It is the result. Again put into the bondage. Sansara, bandhon. And you understand? No hurry. Zero. What is the result of this? Such austerity, such penance. So without bhakti, it is zero. You understand? Automatically bhakta gets all these things. You understand? And gets the mercy. Ahetuki krupa, causeless mercy of the Lord. Therefore, he gets everything. Divya jnana, pure knowledge, manifesting his heart and deed. You understand? No need of separating yoga. To study the Vedic literature and acquire Vedic scholarship. Mukam karoti vācāna. Just open your mouth, all Vedic knowledge will come out from you, from within the heart. You understand? Yes. Just develop your devotion, honorable devotion, and mercy of the Supreme Lord. You can get it. Don't be desperate. That I am lecho, I am java, I don't know Sanskrit, nothing, how can I understand? Don't be desperate. Just develop. Just develop your devotion. And see how you can say, how Dhruva Maharaja offers such prayers, how Gajendra is offering such prayer. You understand? No hurry. Don't be desperate. Just develop your devotion. And you'll offer such prayers, speak such Vedas, by the mercy of the Lord. So, Gajendra says, I am with patience daily.
जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जी महाराज की जय।